Yo, what up? This is Mike Brown, and this is the Art of Letting Go. That's all. What's going on, y'all? As promised, said we're going to have a guest every day of, not every day, every week of August. We got our first guest. You want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Brandon Cooper. I am the CEO of Aphid.
Okay. Let the people know what that is as well, because I'm sure people want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I've created a financial technology company that is going to allow people to work shorter work weeks. So I want to bring death to the 9 to 5.
We all looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Man, so I brought you on today, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, but brought you on because I wanted to talk about being proud of what you're doing, because I see how you're moving with everything you're doing, and just seeing how I'm moving with what I'm doing, and I really feel good about that. You know, and it's funny because I was thinking about what they say are sins.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying being prideful is one of the 7 sins, right? But why? And I ask why because, you know, being proud of what I'm doing makes me feel good.
Yeah, I think the prideful aspect for people coming in, so it's one thing, right, to be in the know of what it is you're called here to do. A lot of people don't know what they're here to do, right? The prideful aspect is the outside distractions from the world, I believe.
Yeah.
It's the people looking into the store and you want to be the mannequin and say, hey, look, this is what I'm doing, opposed to what you really need to be doing. And
Right.
you don't really care. It's really about how you perform in an audience with no one there.
Absolutely.
And that's when you show everything you have because you're not worried about the response. You just go out there and do it. You know, and I think that's where that comes into play.
Yeah, and I agree with you because, you know, I use this podcast as an example, but, you know, everything I'm doing with this, like I recognize this is probably something that I put the most work into out of anything I've ever done. Music, anything. Like I've really focused and been consistent with this. And, you know, I had to take a pause for a second and really appreciate that because in my mind, I'm always, what's next? Or I have to do more, you know, and that doesn't always feel good for me. You know, it makes the work more stressful.
I agree with that. It's always more that we could be doing.
Absolutely.
And we have to hit the pause button at some point and acknowledge the greatness of what we're doing now. There are people I know people that have been doing music, been doing art, have been getting ready to get ready for 10 years.
Yeah.
And you're doing this here,
Yeah.
you know, with the art. That's an accomplishment to actually be doing it and setting those small milestones and actually doing it, man. It's great that I'm proud of you, first off.
I appreciate that, man. I'm proud of you too.
It. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. The feeling is mutual.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So I guess a question I would ask you as a creative, like what keeps you going with what you're doing?
Definitely my family, breaking the generational curses.
Whew.
My son is driving for us. He's happy. He's seen me on TV.
Yeah.
He's like, that's my dad. He's telling kids that they care. That's my dad. That's my dad. And
yeah.
That was special for me, you know. But what keeps me going, keeps me motivated is my past pain. Pain drives me. A very small percent is a little bit of the noise that I talked about. Not to be hypocritical, but you hear noise and people have said certain things about me, and yeah, I mean, you're gonna watch, you know.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
what you said to me. Yeah, it's a combination. It's kind of like I was telling my girlfriend, Kobe Bryant named the company 13, and this came towards the end of his career, maybe after he retired. He said, why are you calling your company 13? There's 13 people drafted ahead of him. He's still talking about it. He has 5 championships. You know, Tom Brady, he remembers being drafted 6th round.
Yeah,
right? Aaron Rodgers got moved in the draft, and it's a humbling experience. And
absolutely.
I think that underdog mentality is what keeps me going. Is being ignored, never being picked for pitch competitions, uh, being ignored by investors, people not listening to my music at the time. Yeah,
That's what's up, man. And kind of going back to what you were saying about just being a father, being in a relationship, and being an entrepreneur. How do you find the balance in all of that?
it takes meditation for me to cleanse out. We release things in every other category of life, but we don't do it with our spirit really.
Man,
People constantly working. Get off at a certain time, typically 5, 6 o'clock after traffic, especially here in LA.
yeah,
And then you just want to relax after work, and you have to cook, maybe clean up, and you're already getting ready for the next day. So finding balance is terrible. You have to release the spirit. It's almost like working out,
yeah,
but for the spirit. You have to work out for the spirit. So for me, to answer your question, how do I find that balance? It's really just realizing when to stop and say, I need to stop working on my business right now. Let me go have a drink and not make it binary. Or, yeah, I'm going to spend time with my son today.
yeah,
'Cause, I spent a lot of time with them. With like we took him to Disneyland and everything. Those kind of things are very, very important.
yeah,
And I want to always look back and say, I had fun while I worked hard as well. Because I've done the work hard, no play, and that's not good at all. It's unhealthy. I wouldn't advise anyone to do that ever.
man. That's important, and I feel like I'm trying to find my own balance within that because you know, for me, especially with music, like inspiration would hit me at different points. So it's like, it almost felt like I always had to be working. And even with doing this, I've been trying to set a schedule, and now that I'm working full time, I'm having to adjust that schedule and try to figure it out again because, I have to focus on the job requires a lot of my time, but this is ultimately what I really want to do, so I'm trying to figure out, you know, allocating time for this as well as that.
Yeah, I would say to that, or to anyone listening, the only way to, not the only way, but what I feel is the secret sauce, you'll never get off the job that you hate spending most of the time at the job you hate.
Right.
The time you're away from that, you have to be in the trenches. You
Yeah.
can't go to sleep when you want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I spent years collectively being up to 3 o'clock in the morning, and that foundation
Yeah.
of what I set in my garden, when it breaks through the soil, the tree is gonna be so huge you can't stop it.
Yeah. Do you have a daily routine of like things that you do?
Well, my day to day is pretty different.
Okay.
So some days I'll meditate, other days I won't. Working out is a great stress reliever for me. As much as I can, I
Yeah.
have to really get on that.
Yeah.
But I really don't, because sometimes I have 4, 6 meetings in a day.
Yeah.
That's tough. 6 meetings in a day sometimes. I really don't have time to do things. I mentor about 6 or 7 people.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time with them as well. It's tough. But to answer your question, it varies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? Because I'm just thinking about what you're doing with your company and breaking down the work week for people. What does that look like?
As far as what we plan to do in the ecosystem with the company, we've created, there's artificial intelligence technology and blockchain technology that we're using. We haven't unveiled everything that we're doing per se, but to give you a first glimpse of what we are doing, my goal is to create a 1-hour work week. And I've created technology to allow that to happen for the everyday person.
Wow.
So you're hearing it first.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds amazing. Shoot. Anything else you want to share with the people?
Really just get in tune with your spirit and realize that we all have superpowers, and it's the system's job to program us to not believe that that is possible. And if you haven't watched the movie Glass, and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I don't. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. You're going to make me check it out, though,
Yeah,
as soon as I get home.
So watch, if you haven't watched Unbreakable, and then watch Split, and then watch Glass. It's a trilogy.
Okay.
You have to watch it in that order, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
But it just superpowers. For me, since I've been meditating 2011, I've been able to attract things mentally with my brain like a magnet. I mean, on a this is not egotistical. I share this because I've allowed friends to experience the same thing.
Yeah.
Once they tap into a certain frequency, you'll be surprised of what can occur off a thought.
Yeah. No, trust me, I definitely believe you, because that's how I've been feeling lately. Everything that I've been saying I want, I've been getting. But also, life hasn't been allowing me to get it so easy. You know, things always have came easy to me before, but now that I'm in tune with, okay, I want this, and it comes, it's like you got to put a little work in to maintain it. Yeah. So it's a good feeling, man, and I feel like it takes some discipline as well.
Yeah, it definitely does. Breaking those old habits and the things that the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result, we have to get out of what hasn't worked and move smarter instead of harder. You can work hard for 20 years and still be broke.
Man.
And if you don't understand the game that you're playing, that's a whole nother beast. You can work hard in the right industry, be around the right people, but if you don't understand the game you're playing, you've been climbing the wrong ladder for 10 years.
Yeah.
Your ladder is on the wrong building. You have to make sure you going up the rung by rung on the right building.
Yeah.
And that takes mentorship. That's the shortcut, is someone who's fell on their face first.
Do you have a mentor right now?
And I actually don't.
I don't either.
And I really, so it might sound weird, but I feel like I'm communicating with like aliens, and I watch
weird at all.
I watch Gary V videos. Those are my mentors from afar. Old Steve Jobs videos.
Yeah.
Those kind of people, they post YouTube videos for free.
Right.
And you can watch fireside chats, keynotes from these people. That's free mentorship. So that's where I get my information from. And of course, motivational speakers.
Yeah.
The Jim Rohns and Les Brown, Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same way, man. And it's funny you say that, because I've had mentors in the past, and people have told me, like, you know, you need to have a mentor. You need to have a mentor. And in the space I'm in right now, I'm on the same thing. Like, I find what I'm looking for. I don't necessarily have one person that I go to, but I don't know if I need it right now or not, you know?
If you feel like you're in your calling and you're being guided by God as your mentor, I think we're fine. He's the ultimate programmer.
Right.
And if you'll know a mentor that you need when that person comes to you, you'll say, this should be my mentor.
Yeah.
I think it happens that way. But in our line of work, people our color, it's very difficult because a lot of people don't want to get a playbook over once they cross the line. And I always say when I get to that point, I never want to be like them. The person that I despise is those who make it and change. And you can help a community from afar. I know, like Nipsey Hussle, he tried to, he was just a little too close and didn't realize how far he really was. Not that you have to feed the community with a long spoon. Sometimes it has to be with a slingshot,
right?
Depending on where you at.
Right.
But anyway, not to get off topic.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Shoot, I think that's all I have for today.
Awesome, man. Well,
where can the people find you? Yeah,
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Brandon Cooper. The O's in Cooper are zeros. Check me out there. And then the website is aphid.io. Aphid is APHID, and that's .io. So you can check out that on all the social media platforms as well. And then my personal website is aboutbrandoncooper.com.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you having me, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
If you want to find this podcast, you can find it at the Art of Letting Go podcast on all streaming services. If you want to find me, you can find me at Just Mike Brown on all social media. And yeah, it's the Art of Letting Go. Peace. If you enjoyed this week's episode of The Art of Letting Go, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this podcast wherever you listen to this podcast. If you would like to follow The Art of Letting Go, you can find us at The Art of Letting Go Podcast on all social media. You can also reach out to us at theartoflettinggopodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to find me, Mike Brown, you can find me at Just Mike Brown on all social media and PrimoMiguel.com for all my artistic endeavors. Thank you for listening to this week's episode, and I'll see you next week.